In transit today, forgets about the bus. We forget about driving in your car on the Metropolitan. In transit today, heads to space because sometimes you got to get from point A to point B, and point A is Earth, and point B is the International Space Station. Joshua Kutryk joins us now from the Canadian Space Agency, an astronaut who will be flying to the International Space Station next year. Joshua, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Good morning.
Well, so let's get the update here, right, on your mission. There was supposed to be a test carried out this week, a test flight, test journey. Give us the details because I don't think it ended up going as we planned. Tell us more.
No, it's planned to go in a couple weeks. So on May
Okay.
6th, we're going to launch this vehicle. Yeah, it's the vehicle's CST-100 Starliner, and May 6th will be the first time that it flies with people. It's a test flight up and down. And then hopefully about a year later, my mission is to take that same spaceship on its first long duration operational trip into space for about 6 or 7 months. So that's where we're sitting today.
Okay, so tell me about the ship that you're taking. This is a Boeing craft, right? That you're using for this flight.
Yeah, it's called Starliner. It's built primarily by Boeing. It's part of the United States' effort to commercialize low Earth orbit. So they ended up with two new spacecraft out of this effort. One is SpaceX's Dragon, and the other is Boeing's Starliner. Boeing Starliner it's a magnificent ship. It brings aboard a lot of new technology that I've been working with the teams here to develop and test and prove for a matter of years now. And we're really looking forward to launching it for the first time on May 6th, and then to fly in that first operational mission with it next year. Because we think it's great. We think it's doing what space does, which is develop new technology. And to me, it's promising for the future of low Earth orbit and humans in space. We're proud to be part of it.
And do we need better, faster, cheaper ways to get to the International Space Station? How are we doing it right now versus how you're going to be doing it?
We're always searching for better ways. Right now, we started with the space shuttle, and we had that space shuttle program for almost 30 years here in the United States. Many Canadian Space Agency astronauts flew as part of that program, but it came to an end, as all good things must, a little over 10 years ago. We've been heavily reliant, I would say, on Russia and their spacecraft to get to and from the International Space Station in the time that has passed since then. And now we're sort of on the new leading edge of a new era in spaceflight, which is commercial vehicles, which is new technology, which is lower prices, which is more access to space. And we've started that about a number of years ago now with SpaceX, and we're continuing it now with Boeing. And it's a good thing. Space is about opportunity, so that the easier, the cheaper ways we have to get into low Earth orbit and back, the better. And that's what this vehicle is really about. And it's good for Canada too, that we're involved developing it, that we're flying on its first operational mission. It speaks to our space program. So
and space is also a risky business. So I'd love to get into, I don't know, are you nervous? Are there nerves involved, especially when you're taking new craft out there into space? Tell me about the nerves aspect of this.
I think there certainly will be. I feel it a little bit already. On May 6th, we fly the first flight with humans. I'm not on it, but I'm controlling it. I'm one of the prime flight controllers with Capcom. So I'll control the first 10 minutes of flight is sort of my specialty, the ascent, and then the last 40 minutes, the first atmospheric reentry. And they are certainly high risk test point profiles. So we feel that, we're aware of that. At the same time, I think most of us would tell you that if we're really nervous on launch day, we haven't done our job. Our job is to prepare. Our job fundamentally is to manage risk and mitigate risk through test, development, training, rehearsal. And we've been doing that, in my case, for almost 4 years now. So we feel nervous. It is a high stakes, high risk game. It's a very serious one, but we also feel very ready, and it's an important job that we look forward to doing.
We're with Joshua Kutryk from the Canadian Space Agency, the astronaut flying to the International Space Station for the first time. That's going to happen. That flight's going to be in 2025. Let's talk about the International Space Station, Joshua. Does it live up to the international part of this? I mean, you're a Canadian, so I guess you could put that flag on the board there. But let's talk about the International Space Station and just how important it is still to this day when it comes to exploration and scientific missions.
Yeah, it's very important. It's probably the International Space Station is probably just entering its most valuable period of time in terms of payback to Earth. You know, we spent it's a lot of money, obviously, countries from all over the world. It is very international. That's one of the best things about it. So the United States, Russia, Japan, all of Europe, and then the fifth prime partner is small little Canada, which is something that has some remarkable results for our industry and economy and innovation in this country. But anyway, we spent over the course of 2 decades building it, and we're just now sort of achieving our running stride with it, where we're able to reap some of these benefits. And benefits are mostly innovative scientific discovery. They're the result of the scientific work that we do there. And so we're kind of just entering that phase now, which we would call scientific utilization. And the payback is huge in terms of scientific discovery, innovation. We're using it to develop the technologies that we hope to use soon to take the next steps into deep space, the moon, and someday all the way to Mars.
So, and you're headed to the International Space Station in the beginning of 2025, as I have it here. Tell me about that. Tell me about that excitement, and what are you looking forward to the most when it comes to spending time on the space station?
I've dreamt of space flight and exploring my whole life, so I'm certainly very excited. It doesn't feel quite real. I don't know that it will until the launch date comes. I also feel very proud to be doing it with the Canadian flag on my shoulder. I'm talking to you today from Houston, which is where I work and live. But that's something that I think is important to share, how our little country, Canada, is playing such a leading role in this grand, awesome adventure that we call space flight. So excited and proud, a little bit nervous. I think the thing, from just a pure personal perspective that I look forward to the most is that first look back, getting out of the seat, unstrapping, floating around to a window and looking back on our planet. That's what I would look forward to most. But of course, the experience of living in space for 6 months is so much more than that. It's life altering from what I hear. And of course, I'm very excited to see what that's like.
6 months. And speaking of what you hear, what about the food situation? Like, are you gonna fly up there with like freeze dried poutine in your backpack to trade with a Russian astronaut for something from his country? How does that work, by the way, once you get up there and you're spending 6 months?
Yeah, you guys are in Montreal this morning, right? So poutine, I'll have to remember to bring some. We do that. There's a whole system set up. We can elect to take food that is special to us, and we can have it processed and certified for space station. We can get it there, and then we can indeed trade it. So that does happen. Of course, the food system is like the water system, the air system, all the life support systems is important, and it's hard. It's hard from a technical perspective, but yeah, it's one of the challenges we've managed to crack over the last 20 years.
Well, listen. I'm sure we're going to have an opportunity to catch up before you head to the International Space Station. But thanks for an update on the mission. And as someone who is a big fan of space travel and space exploration, a real pleasure talking to you again.
Pleasure talking to you. Good morning. Thanks.
From Houston, that's Joshua Kutryk, Canadian Space Agency astronaut.